we're going to have a fun week ahead. We're going to have UK bank holiday. We are going to have retail sales, CPI, and unemployment out of Japan. But most of all, we are going to have CPI out of Europe, and we're going to have non-farm payrolls on Friday. Going forward, the seasonality I've been talking about, this is Australian dollar, Japanese yen, this is the Euro JPY, this is the New Zealand JPY, and this is also the British pound JPY. You can see where we are turning, and I've talked about previously where I'm like, okay, but where are you supposed to take profit? I said around 7th to around 12th, but by seasonality, it's probably more 12th, but some years we do peak around 7th. I'm just going to be very, very okay with that. We have Wells Fargo forecasting change. They are revising down their GDP forecast, both for the world, but also the US, driven by material change in China. If you go back to China, we have the PMI services. The PMI surveys are showing a decline. We have the CPI and the PPI showing a decline and in negative territory. We are seeing a decline in real estate construction investments in China. So yeah, not great. But also what you might have noticed, a decreasing downside risk for US to going to a full-size economic situation as of 1930s. So that's kind of that currently. What is important to note is we are now going to focus more on unemployment or employment because it's the one that is still sticky. We also are seeing that people still has a lot of jobs. People still are able to relatively pay their bills. They are seeing increasing wages. They're still keeping their job. So the U.S. consumer, when it comes to labor, is still quite strong. And the only problem with America, or many problems with that, is that they are seeing a halt in business. Going forward, sorry, I want to go to Powell. Going forward, Powell had a speech on Friday. He said that they are still restrictive and they might still have more rate hikes. That is quite hawkish. They're still data dependent. But the only question is now, why is Powell still talking about raising rates even though we are seeing the downturn he always wanted to have? Is he again going into the same mistake he did last time, where he said, well, inflation is not there. It's not there until it was there. Going forward, I'm still in my Australian dollar Japanese yen trade. Went sideways. The entries that you are looking for so far is either somewhere around 93.60, 80 level, 70 maybe, somewhere around here. And 93.40 for those who were aggressive. Going forward, maybe we'll get a price down to 93.60 again before reaching higher. But if that doesn't happen, there is nothing in me that is going to be like, oh wow, look at that, that's never happened. I'm going to be, if it makes a higher high, I'm going to catch the pullback. So going into, then leads me across all the yen pairs, that leads me going into dailies. That's going to make me very aggressive. And then you're going to be like, but Ivan, what are you doing? How are you going to do this? And I'm going to tell you for free, it's going to be fun. So I expect a quite aggressive market going forward. I don't know if I will get it. I don't know if I'm not going to see it happening. But what I am going to do is I am going to buy levels of central pivot, which is current price actually, every single day going forward. And you're going to see me adding a lot of trades this week if we then start to rise higher. So what is the target still? Again, September 7th to 12th, give or take. If we go back to last year, does it show and prove that from last year? Last year is out there. Okay. There is 21st range, then started to rise, came back down again. There's still opportunities. And then we peaked last year around 12th. I said 7th. So what are you going to do? It's pretty easy lemon squeezy here. Because as you see, there is 3 days here, maybe 4 days of it falls down. It's not, last year wasn't like rocket science on Aussie yen. So, but there is that. Target around 7th to 12th of September, depending on where we hit a monthly target or weekly target. That also goes across for CAD yen. Though I didn't show the seasonality on it, it's pretty smack that I want to swell. I can blame the research team on that one. The reason why are you yen weakness, Ivan? Why are you not risk off? Why is things, why are you doing? Because I have traded years where we have way worse economic performance. Everything was going down the toilet. It was horrible and still went higher. So, until I'm proven wrong, and otherwise, I'm still going to try to trade it higher. Though CAD yen has gone into a range, I have not any great things to say here. I had hit stop loss from last week, and it went again higher. So some of my mentees has an entry here and also an entry here. I don't, basically. So going forward to next week, I'm going to look for one. I'm still in that process of looking for one. And you might say to yourself, but Evan, why don't you just take a central pivot? Monthly. Why don't you just take a central pivot? Okay, cool. I will try to do that. Okay, 107.5, give or take. Okay, cool. I'll do that. But my main focus isn't necessarily pivot points. It is price action. What have we done? What are we doing? And the most important thing that I'm going to ask myself every single day is, are we bearish? Have we made a new lower low? We have not. We have actually made a new high. Not a higher high, but we made a high. So I'm still positive and still grateful, and we still can still do things. And by Friday, I hope to be much higher so that we don't, hit some stop losses on some kind of unemployment numbers that may come and ruin everything. So going forward, CAD yen up to at least 108, 109. Euro yen. Yes, we got it. That was a wrong rule. Boom, that was better. So Euro yen. Fantastic. I wanted a new high and I got it. Now it's just to catch the pullbacks. Were we supposed to catch it on Friday? Were we supposed to catch it somewhere? I don't know where somewhere is even. Am I just going to buy London Open tomorrow? Probably. So again, higher high, higher lows on the 1 hour time frame. I am golden. If we all the way down to 157.46, I'm golden. Which is quite some pips here. Okay, 65. Okay, cool. So if you hear me shout having an entry at 107.46, don't be surprised. With a stop loss either below here to close, that would be below here. So below 156.78, which is a good 70 pips or more, 80 pips, 70 pips, give or take. I'll probably take 100 anyways. That is my trade that I'm taking for this upcoming, I would argue, aggressive market going higher. And the other thing that I want to do is British pound, Japanese yen. But it had quite a hard Friday. It didn't go as high as Euro yen. Didn't go quite high as Aussie yen. Didn't quite go high as CAD yen. But it's still hanging in there for dear life. What it didn't do, it didn't breach above my level of 184.60s. I'm waiting for that to happen. And then you're probably going to hear me. And then I bet you by tomorrow it's just going to be like that. And then I'm going to get no entry. That's the nature of British pound, Japanese yen. If you take British pound, US dollar as a comparison, It's not quite bullish either. So pound in itself isn't going where I wanted to go, but this is a yen move. So chill out. New Zealand yen came down lower on Friday. People were like, "Oh, I need to get a lower entry." People got lower entries, and then the last 2 hours of the trading day came pretty hard down. All right, that is still. Are we bullish? Are we bearish? Have we made a new high? Have we made a new low? We tried to go higher, failed, and I'm still very positive. This is just a pullback because what has it not done? It has not broken below 85.85. Easy peasy lemon squeezy there too. This is how I behave now. I behave like, is it bullish? Is it bearish? Just get it done. Don't spend more than 5 minutes looking at the market. And if you're wondering, if you start to wonder like what is going on here, what is happening, I will be so very clear with you. If you don't know what you're doing, there is no place and look there up. There is no financial advice here. If you want to do, you do. I'm just doing what I do. USDN, quite bullish. It just went away. I don't trade it. So if you guys are thinking about it, maybe 145, kind of a pullback. So what about all the other things? I looked up at gold for you earlier, which was what for this upcoming week? Peaking. Okay. Let's go to gold. Gold. So, what is happening? We have had a pullback. We have hit target on the monthly, which was around 1890 level-ish, and we have had a pullback. We have hit weekly target 3 times, and then we have a pretty hard fall on Friday. I would argue that this one might have another push before going down again. So if you're trying to buy it, this isn't the greatest buy in your entire history of trading. This was your level to buy. This pullback coming down there. Did you take it? Did you not? Somebody did, somebody didn't. This one might be a buy. It does trade off resistance and support, but I don't think it's going to hold. Cincinnati is going to come and crush it down. Trading wise, it's just a pullback. It has made a peak. I think it's going to do another one before falling. So just be careful. I would argue that technically this is probably a better one to sell more than anything else. US oil, I'm looking for, China is not doing great. Europe is not doing great, where we had a German services coming into negative territory and contracting. We have businesses in America not doing fantastic either, which is probably expected anyways. Where is oil going to go? Where is things going to go? Seasonally wise, it's supposed to go higher. Now, what is this? Double bottom. New high. Okay? I'm not talking, I'm just saying. If this makes a new lower low, fine. Clever. Take it lower. But seasonally was supposed to go higher, so we shall see who's going to win that battle. Up to 83.29 is the target for this week. Stop loss is wherever you imagine it to be. Below 77.69 is a good one. Other than that, I hope you have a fantastic week. Trade with care, and I'll see you in a meeting.